Hello everyone, welcome back to Leeton. My name's Jace and this channel is all about our journey to become more self-sufficient in fruit, veg, eggs and maybe some honey. Now today, some half decent weather. The really cold snap seems to have abated for now, and I thought what I'm going to do is get a little bit done on these raised beds that we put in these pallet collar raised beds. So I think what I'm going to do is the homemade compost that I put in the bottom, I'm going to spread out evenly amongst the first 5 beds. The one at the very end I'm going to leave because I haven't got any cardboard to put in it. I need to pick up a bit of cardboard when I'm next on site somewhere. So I'm going to spread out the homemade compost evenly so it's all the same depth in the beds, and then I'm going to top it off with this shop bought Irish moss peat compost, and then I'm going to sow some red onion sets, variety electric. Now I did sow some red onion seeds. I sowed red baron, and when we had that really cold snap last week I took all of my seedlings inside, put them on the worktop, and then turned round, knocked the tray off, and they went all over the floor. Now I could have probably scooped them up and saved them, but they weren't doing very well anyway. The compost that they were in was just rubbish, absolute rubbish, shop bought compost, and they'd germinated. So they'd germinated, come up, and then, you know, an onion comes out the ground like that, doesn't it, and then it straightens up. Well, half of them had got to this point and they'd just stopped growing. And whether that was because the compost had gone hard or it was just rubbish compost, I don't know. So the red onions this year are going to be sets, I'm afraid. We all know that sets don't normally produce great onions, kind of a tendency to bolt, and especially red onions, but that's the option that is left, so that's what we're going to do. I have lots of white onions, it's Elsa Craig growing as from seed, and they're in seed modules up the top there, and they'll get planted out in due course. But first, before we do any of that on the raised beds and these onions, I have lots of, well, not lots, I have 7 parsnips growing in the method that I use, which is in these little dissolving cardboard pots. So I'm going to put those out in one of those concrete raised beds over there, along with some others that I put out probably 3 weeks ago now, and they're still growing, they're still surviving. So that's that. But before I do that, I just want to ask, has anyone ever seen this before? This parsnip has put out 3 seedling leaves. Now, I've never seen that before. There's definitely only 1 plant there, but it has put out 3 seedling leaves, and you can just see a true leaf forming in the middle of the 3. I've never known that before. All the others are 2 seedling leaves, but that one's put out 3. Anyone got any ideas on that? If you have, please let me know in the comments below. Right, let's get these parsnips in the ground. Okay, so I apologise if there's a bit of wind noise, but before I plant these, I'm just going to show you the ones I planted out, must be 3 weeks ago now, before we had a really cold snap. And all I've protected them with is these half pot bowls. And they're coming on all right. I mean, parsnips are very slow growing anyway. So I'm quite happy with that. And I'm just going to continue that theme. So I'm going to put on there. I think I'm going to go a diamond pattern, if you like. So rather than going there, so there's a row, I'm going to go one there, so it's planted diagonally, and then that way I can get more in the bed as time goes on. Something like that, and they're probably 6 inches apart, even diagonally, so plenty of room. So that's what we're going to do. So what I do with these is I start them in these, and then I tear out bottom of the pot, just so there's nothing stopping the taproot going straight down. Okay, so that's the parsnips put in. Hopefully they'll slowly do their thing until the weather warms up. The other seems to have settled down all right, so hopefully these will. So next I'm just going to get the manure fork, I think, and just spread this compost out equally, and then top it off with the shop bought compost, and we're going to plant some onion sets. Okay, so with onion sets, all they are is a mini onion, one that was started to grow last year and then stopped, and you've got an end that's slightly rounded with roots on and an end that's pointy where the onion will grow from. And all you do is literally just push them into the ground so that it's just slightly buried. You don't want to plant these very deep, just enough to cover the onion. You can even leave them sticking out a bit. So I'm going to plant these about 4 inches apart. And you just want to check each one, make sure it hasn't gone soft. That one's gone soft. That probably isn't any good. So is that one. And I'll do the same as I did with the parsnips. I'm going to do a diagonal pattern, and that way I'll get more in the same space. Now, onions are pretty hardy, but I am still a month away from my last frost date, and who knows what we're going to get. So I'm going to put a little bit of fleece over the top of this, and it isn't just to prevent the tips of the onions getting nipped by some really cold weather. It's to keep birds and the squirrel that we have living around here from digging them up. So in the last year, the magpies tore some of my fleece to pieces to make their nests. So I'm hoping they don't do it again this year. Alright guys, well, more parsnips planted and red onion sets in the ground as well. We're getting there, slowly starting to get things in the ground. We've just got to hope that we get some decent weather now, really. And I think we will. I think it's going to start to warm up now. Yeah, I just said that. I just said I think we're going to get some nice weather now. So if you've liked the video, guys, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. This is great British weather for you. It isn't meant to be doing this. It's meant to have a little bit of rain this afternoon. And the onions that I've just put in. Oh well, it isn't actually that cold. It's obviously going to have a bit of snow this evening. It'll be fine, won't be an issue, he says. Catch you next time.